Tracy Harris Patterson trying to get back the title that he lost 14 months ago to Arturo Gatti. Joe Tessitore alongside the Iceman, John Scully. And Ice, what does Tracy need to do that he wasn't able to do the first go-round with Gatti?
Well, obviously, I'd like to see him start a little quicker than he did last time. Some of that could be just loosening up better in the dressing room. Maybe add another 10 minutes onto your routine in the dressing room. When he used the jab, he looked very good. He looked good when he started with the jab. I'd like to see him be first a little bit more with that and fight with a little bit more urgency. And he is the challenger tonight, so that's just a prerequisite. He has to do that.
The new age Italian stallion, Arturo Thunder Gatti, coming out to the Rocky theme song. Gatti looking to defend that IBF 130-pound belt. It was last March at Madison Square Garden when he did just that against Wilson Rodriguez in what many are saying are one of the greatest fights of this generation. The eyes swollen badly, but somehow, some way, Gatti scored a 6-round knockout win. For the official introductions, let's send it up to the ring to Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, main events and Peltz Boxing Promotions in association with your undisputed, undefeated King of Beers, Budweiser, present the featured match of the evening. This is the rematch. 12 rounds of boxing for the IBF Junior Lightweight Championship of the World. Sanctioned by the New Jersey State Athletic Control Board, Boxing Commissioner Larry Hazard Sr., Chairman Jerry Gormley, Board members Gary Shaw and Steve Katz. This bout is also sanctioned by the International Boxing Federation, President Robert W. Lee, IBF Supervisor at ringside, Darrell Peoples. The 3 judges scoring this contest on a 10-point bus system will be Biba Exton, George Hill, and David McCullough. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action, working for the 75th time in a world title bout, Rudy Battle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Bally's Park Place, Atlantic City, let's get ready to rumble! In the red corner, wearing gold and red, weighing 130 pounds. His professional record, 57 victories, 40 by knockout, with only 4 defeats and 1 draw. Ladies and gentlemen, from Highland Park, New York, introducing the challenger and #1 ranked contender in the world, the former world champion, Tracy Patterson. And across the ring in the blue corner, wearing white with blue, weighing in also at 130 pounds. His professional record, 26 victories, 22 by knockout with only 1 defeat. From Jersey City, New Jersey, ladies and gentlemen, presenting the IBF Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, Arturo Thunder Gatti.
Quite a reception for Gatti here in his home state.
Okay, gentlemen, you both received your pre-fight instructions. I expect a clean break at all times, and let's have a nice, clean contest. Do you have any questions here? Nope. All right, good luck to both of you. Let's touch gloves.
That epic battle against Wilson Rodriguez, John Scully, last March 23rd, was the kind of fight that a lot of people often say you're never the same afterwards. The first time Gatti fought Tracy Harris Patterson, he had swelling around the left eye very early in the fight. He had a cut near the right eye late in the fight. We know what happened against Rodriguez when both eyes were swollen up like big balloons. How big of a factor is that tonight? Tracy Harris Patterson trying to do damage and get Gatti back to that place.
Well, once your eyes start cutting and swelling in that manner, it's not like they get better. They get worse. They get easier to open up and to swell. So that's certainly not a good thing for Arturo tonight. But it's up to Tracy to take advantage of that. And, you know, what people kind of forget is Gatti looked much different in that fight. Like, they remember the spectacular knockout, and they say great performance. But it wasn't like he looked all that good up until that moment, and he certainly didn't fight as smartly and as sharply as he did with Tracy the first time. So I'd like to see him, there was a good shot there, but I'd like to see him come back and box better like he did with Tracy the first time.
So Gatti scores well with the thudding blow early on. It was a right uppercut. Remember, when they met up 14 months ago, it was a right uppercut that scored a knockdown in the second round for Arturo Gatti.
Now we're only about halfway through the first round, and he's already thrown about 20 less jabs than he did the first time they fought. And that was what was so successful for him. So I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't come out. You know, and every fight's different. You just don't feel it. Maybe he just felt it that night. But it's no secret. If something works once, there's a good chance it'll work again. Now there's a jab from Tracy. Tracy is the one that's landed the best jab so far. So that's going to be interesting to see how that unfolds.
Everybody was raving about the performance from Arturo Gatti in that fight, December 15th of 1995, when he claimed the world title. So impressed with his boxing ability, left hand straight a little low towards the hip. Referee Rudy Battle was on the other side. But maybe because he did it with such ease, he has a boost of confidence, which now allows him to say, okay, you can do even more. Thus the power punching we're seeing early.
Right, but the thing is, he was successful doing what he did before. So
sharp right hand from Patterson, and now Gatti stumbles back. Oh, and Rudy Battle says that last shot was a low blow, but Gatti was hurt.
He was hurt to the head before that, definitely.
So a poorly timed low blow, and you can see how upset Tracy Harris Patterson is. He knows that he was on the offensive and Gatti was hurt, so Gatti catches a very, very big break early on. What an interesting first round. Gatti scored well with the uppercut. Patterson comes back with a combination and then the low blow.
Now, we hurt Gatti early, which he didn't do at all really in the last fight like that. So I'm hoping that'll be a spark that gets him to start quicker like he didn't do last time.
So a good start from Tracy Harris Patterson, and fortuitous timing for Arturo Gatti. Let's take a look back at that sequence in round number one, John Scully, and walk us through it.
Well, now here we go. He throws a good right hand, and bam, a counter right hand. Good shot. Now he saw success, so he's opening up. This is what he needed to do last time. This is what he needs to do this time. He opens up. And there, now his whole flow was, you know, the fight could have been over right there. You know, Tracy was definitely hyped up, and Arturo was stung.
Veteran cutman Joe Souza working the corner for Arturo Gatti. It's expected that he will play a very big role in this fight. Joe Souza deserves a lot of the credit for that spectacular comeback win Gatti had at Madison Square Garden over Wilson Rodriguez last March. Just keeping him in the fight to give him the opportunity for the 6-round knockout. Round number 2.
Now, what I noticed about Gatti, when he fought Tracy the first time, he had more of a hands-up offense. He let his jab flow from there. Here, he seems to be trying to shoot it almost like from his hip, almost in the Tommy Hearns style. And I don't think that suits him at all. I don't think he has that type of natural fluidness to do that.
in that first fight, with the exception of the one solid uppercut that he landed and scored the knockdown against Patterson, for the most part, the intents were simple. Put forth the jab. If another punch can be there, so be it. That is not the case tonight. Arturo Gatti tonight seems to be utilizing the jab as a way to set up the power punches.
Right, I think he's probably, for better or worse, evolved as a fighter. He has more confidence. Back then, he was younger. He was the challenger. And maybe he just wanted to get through the fight as cleanly as he could and just grab the title. Here, you know, he's a marquee fighter now based on his last win. He's got a big name now. Maybe he feels like he has to produce more offense.
Gatti with a multi-fight TV deal. A big attraction here in Atlantic City. He lives and fights out of Jersey City. And right on the cusp of being a true star in this game. 24 years old, 26-1, and a world champion. Tracy Harris Patterson, of course, the adopted son of the former heavyweight champion of the world, Floyd Patterson. 57 wins now in his illustrious career. A world champion at 122 pounds and 130 pounds prior to losing that IBF belt to Gatti.
And there's that good jab from Tracy. Tracy showed flashes of that in the first fight. Really excellent jab. Here, there's another one. I mean, a shotgun jab. And, you know, he'd be wise to keep that up. You know, you're going to open a man up sooner or later if you keep pumping that jab. He didn't do it enough last time, and I think that was the major difference between the both of them.
Gatti with a lead left hook. Back to the jab now, tried to place the right hand, couldn't find a target. Goes with the uppercut, back to the left hook, and he scores well here at the end of round number 2. Three-punch combination by Gatti. Gatti and Patterson through 2. IBF's junior lightweight champion, Arturo Gatti, in the white trunks, coming out for round number 3 against the former champ, Tracy Harris Patterson. I'm Joe Tessitore, alongside John Scully, the Iceman. And Ice, a much different start in this rematch compared to what we saw when they first met up at Madison Square Garden. What do you like? What do you not like so far out of these two?
Well, I like the fact that that Tracy came out, you know, blazing a little bit early on, which he needs to do. Gatti's not stabbing quite as sharply as he did the first time, and he seems like almost like more of a man now as opposed to before when he seemed more like a boy, like a young fighter. Now he seems to have more confidence in his power, and he's trying to make it a more exciting fight, a more defining victory. But, you know, boxing's a simple game sometimes, and with a shorter opponent like this, a guy that has a lot of wear and tear, 60 fights, I think, he needs to pump that jab like he did the first fight. That's a huge difference in the two fights.
Right hand tried to go to the body, caught a little bit of that left arm. Now digging on the inside. Gatti throwing punches. Tracy just finding a way to get right through it to the chest of Gatti.
Tracy seems almost like he's not sure what he wants to do. If he wants to be aggressive or if he wants to lay back and box. It seems like he's kind of stuck between the two styles and he can't really get his finger on one of them.
Well, he did not win a single round in the first go-round when they strictly were boxing.
Right.
Gatti, of course, last year had the brawl with the swollen eyes against Rodriguez, and Patterson's high point of success in now 15 rounds of fighting Gatti came in the first round of this fight when he was the aggressor and went right after him. And Gatti was fortunate that a low blow was thrown in the mix to give him a respite.
See, what could be happening is Tracy feels like from a distance he can't box Arturo. And now he gets inside, and I think Arturo, oh, good shot, good shot.
Left hand scored well from Gatti.
And I think he probably feels it right there. I think he feels that Arturo is probably stronger than he was the first time, physically as well as mentally. I think Arturo's asserting himself with harder punches with confidence, and I'm sure Tracy feels that, so he might be stuck. He might be having trouble on both ends of the spectrum.
Did that left hand by Gatti clearly secure him that third round?
Stay back in your corner. Stay in the corner. Stay back in your corner.
Round number 4 for the IBF junior lightweight title. Gatti goes back to that left hook and places it around the guard of Patterson again. Now some looping punches, right hand up top, left hand to the body.
And he's really putting something, and when he sets down, he's really putting something into these punches. Hard shots, which obviously you have to be in great shape to do for 12 rounds. Tracy seems stuck to me. He had that initial success early, and now he just seems stuck.
32 years old now, former two-time champion.
Let him go. Watch the shoulder. Nice and clean.
Gatti just 24 years old. So much upside in front of him. Trying to defend his IBF belt here tonight in Atlantic City. Good work from the jab, John.
Well, say the jab, but also, if you notice, he's jabbing and then he's slipping in a little hook. And I don't think he's really necessarily trying to land the hook. I think what he's trying to do is divert Tracy's attention so that he can try and slip in a right hand down the line. Maybe a couple rounds. He might spend 2 or 3 rounds setting him up and then looking to land the right hand.
It's the second time that a left hand has strayed to the right hip of Tracy Harris Patterson, and that can have a big effect over the long term of a fight. You get hit on that hip enough.
Well, you know, you get hit the wrong way, it's hard to even walk, let alone fight. You have that joint there that you know, you need to be fluid when you're walking, and boxing with that in pain is tough. A lot of fighters, you know, they're taught that. I've been told that in the gym. The story goes that that's what Joe Frazier did to Ali the first time, that he dented up his cup. And, you know, whether Gatti's doing that on purpose or not, I don't know. But it could definitely, I think he just did it again.
He did.
And believe me, it may look accidental. That could very well be on purpose, because I've heard that before in the gym many times.
Well, one thing that would tip you off as to that being done purposely is the fact that Rudy Battle was on the right side of the fighters when he throws that left hand to that right side of Tracy Harris Patterson.
That's right.
When the referee's on the opposite side of the hand, you got a great chance of getting away with it.
Right, you get a window of opportunity, 4 or 5 seconds, and oh yeah, that's an old trick. There, he just, I don't know if he hit it low, but he threw it while Rudy was on the other side.
Exactly.
This fight is kind of falling into the frame that the last fight was in. It looks like Tracy wants to do something more than he is. He just can't get himself together.
So 4 rounds in the books, and we pick up round number 5. Gatti in the white, Tracy Harris Patterson in the gold trunks. Left hook again. Wider array of punches out of Gatti tonight compared to what we saw the first time they met up 14 months ago.
Gatti is definitely, without a doubt, a more well-rounded fighter than he was the first time. And you can even see it. I can see it when he holds that hand, that left hand down, almost in Tommy Hearns fashion. That's the sign of a confident fighter, a guy that's used to it. He's probably been doing that in the gym and maybe toying with certain guys, a certain level of sparring partner, and he probably feels good. That's something that a slick boxer would do. So Gatti seems to have evolved in different ways compared to the first time. He looks like a different fighter, whereas Tracy probably leveled off and kind of looks like the same guy.
Alongside the Iceman John Scully, I'm Joe Tessitore. Glad you're with us for this IBF junior lightweight title fight. John, we brought up the fact that maybe there could be lingering effects from that March of 1996, 11 months ago, the brutal come-from-behind victory that Gatti had against Wilson Rodriguez. Let me throw this out and get your reaction. Could there also be another effect when you overcome an experience like that? You can see the warning once again of Rudy Battle talking about the shots to the hip. Could there be another effect that you overcome circumstances like that? You come out the victor after an epic all-time classic fight like that, and your confidence gets a big boost, and you feel more supreme in your skills because of the victory.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's a huge question mark that most fighters never get to answer. Like, he found out something about himself that Ali found out in Manila. You know, it took him there to find out. So, yeah, he's definitely a better fighter than he was back a couple years ago, and now he's fighting with confidence. Like, I certainly don't see any lingering effects in a negative way for the Wilson fight.
Whether or not he's a better fighter, if we could quantify that, you come out of an experience like that, and he thinks he's a better fighter.
Right. Yeah, oh, definitely. And, yeah, for sure, like he's better in ways more than just skill. He's better in a way that he can say something that most fighters can't. He can say, I faced, you know, almost being knocked out, being stopped, being abused. How many people can come from behind?
Gatti and Patterson through 5 rounds. In 1992, Tracy Harris Patterson won the WBC 122-pound world title. In July of 95, he won the IBF super featherweight title. And now here we are in February of 97, and he's trying to win it back. But Arturo Gatti already off to a good start after what for a moment in the first round was a very, very shaky time for Arturo Gatti. When Tracy landed a good solid combination, Gatti staggered back and then caught a lucky break. There was a low blow in the mix that gave him time to recover. Since that moment, Gatti, the world champion at just 24 years old, has been in control. Round number 6 here.
And sometimes what can happen is you get caught early in a fight. If you survive it, you become stronger. It's like a wake-up call. And, you know, I think that could be what happened. Like, that's a way of him saying, okay, I'm in a fight now. Now I got hurt. Now we can start fighting. And I just noticed the difference from the first fight between these two. Gatti seemed so much more strong than he was in that first fight.
Agreed.
And he's fighting in that manner, like he knows it. Oh, good shot there, though.
Right hand from Tracy. Tries to place another right hand and does so. And a third right hand in a span of 15 seconds. Can he back him up with it again?
You've got a lot of people on their feet now.
In that first fight, he fell into a trance against Gatti and got caught up in a jabbing contest. Here tonight, there have been moments where the right hand has been his salvation. He has a minute to work with it here in the 6th round. Left hook, Gatti misses. Back to the jab for Patterson. There's the right hand again.
There it is. He's dropping it in there now.
Easily 5 flush right hands in the first 2 minutes of this 6th round and a stinging left. What a big round for the former champ. And he says, bring it on. Let's make a fight of it.
A good jab. A lot of those jabs go unnoticed, but those are good shots. Another one. Good right hand. Good jab.
Uppercut by Gatti blocked and then swings wide on the subsequent shots.
Another good jab.
A big, much-needed round for the former champ, Tracy Harris Patterson, halfway through this title fight. Round 7. 130-pound champion Arturo Gatti coming out to face Tracy Harris Patterson after what was a momentum-creating 6th round for Patterson. He had momentum in the 1st round, but that was stopped because of a low blow. Gatti seemed to control the action up until that 6th round, and now Patterson with a chance to build on things, John.
Well, I thought that was his best round by far of both fights that these two have had with each other. And there's a good right hand. He's dropping it in there now quickly, nice and straight, and he's getting it through. Good, his jab is setting it up. This is the Tracy we expected to see. This is the guy that's fighting to try to win.
Gatti back to the jab. He had such success with it 14 months ago when he took the title away from Patterson. He's been more willing to trade power shots tonight. That didn't work out well for him in the last round. Rudy Battle getting frustrated with Gatti.
He's motivated now. He looks a little angry. He wants to get into it here. I don't know what happened there to set him off. That could be a good or a bad thing, depending on how Tracy approaches it.
Double jab. Patterson just missed with the right hand.
Tracy gets a lot of his base into the jab. He gets a lot of his body, his lower body pumps into that jab. And when he jabs in that style, I mean, he's jolting Arturo.
Complete antithesis of when you hear the boxing phrase of an arm punch. That is not what Tracy Patterson does with his jab.
No.
Gets everything into it, not just the arm.
His jab is like a shotgun. When he lands it good, he's got a hard jab.
Arturo Gatti may be walking a tightrope act with referee Rudy Battle and inching closer to a point deduction. You can just see the body language with Battle time and time again when he has to deal with Gatti.
And you know, I keep saying how the difference between Gatti from their first fight to this one, he's stronger, more aggressive, maybe he's more confident in his abilities, but that might not necessarily be the best thing for him. He might need to go back to that old style of popping the jab, because here he is, he's probably a better fighter overall, but he's having a tougher time this fight than he did last time.
Left hand landed well. You get the sense Gatti's actually enjoying it more.
Right, oh, definitely.
He had to stay in such control the first time they fought. And here, he fights the way he prefers.
Now that's the good right hand early in the round, and those 2 body shots, 3, 4 body shots, those take a toll as the fight goes. Arturo's a really tough kid, but this is a veteran, and digging those body shots, you know, he's not going to want to trade body shots all night.
Round 8 here in Atlantic City, the rematch between Gatti and Tracy Harris Patterson. Left hook from Gatti. That left hand lingering low now, shooting that jab off the hip. Nothing like we saw 14 months ago when he was in good, proper form and had a straight ahead jab.
Let him go.
In the first fight, they had almost mirror images of each other with the jab department. Tracy's is still a shotgun. And like I say, Arturo's kind of altered his jab, almost like a Tommy Hearns type of jab, and I don't think it suits him. I don't think he gets the full thrust into it.
This version of Arturo Gatti, the version we saw against Wilson Rodriguez last March, and the version we're seeing tonight. Oh, and Rudy Battle's going to have to deal with
waist.
that. There it is. Point deduction. Could be costly. A lot of close rounds here. We told you it was heading down that road, and it just did.
And the thing is, he took a point away, but the damage is still done. He just hit him with a right hand on Tracy's left thigh. And taking a point away is not going to fix the damage that could have done if he injured him in any way.
Getting back to the stylistic issues with Arturo Gatti. The version we're seeing tonight, the version we saw against Wilson Rodriguez, it's a more exciting, fan-friendly Gatti. But the version that first fought Tracy Harris Patterson seemed to be a more consistent championship-level Arturo Gatti. You were making a lot of comments, I remember watching that fight with you, of talking about how composed he is and what veteran tendencies he has to stay so controlled, composed, and act like a champion in that fight.
Definitely, he fought a brilliant tactical fight the first time, and his composure for being so young was very, very impressive to me. And I think what happens a lot of times, guys get older and they begin to learn more about the business of boxing, and they get talking to the heads of the big studios, and they realize that, you know, you have to have people who want to come watch you, so they alter their styles. And, you know, that could be what's happening here. He got so much praise for the last fight when, in fact, he didn't really look that good up until he knocked Wilson Rodriguez out.
Landed a good left hand moments ago. Arturo Gatti becoming a very popular attraction in the fight game. Reason's right in front of you, throwing out 6-7 punches and eating 2 in return. I'm Joe Tessitore with the Iceman, John Scully. Arturo Gatti, Tracy Harris Patterson, the rematch, round number 9. Much better showing tonight from the former IBF junior lightweight champion Tracy Harris Patterson, and a much different showing stylistically from Arturo Gatti. Left hook lands well.
See, and I still think he's just flashing that left hook out there, trying to set Tracy up for a right hand, but he hasn't thrown it off it yet. I don't know what he's waiting for, because he's landing it. He's slapping Tracy with it. He's not really punching him as much as he's slapping him.
Patterson landed a right hand, and that clearly looked like a slip, but it's being ruled a knockdown. I mean, it was Patterson who landed the punch, and then his feet gave out, and he can't believe it. He's incredulous to the fact that a knockdown was just scored against him. Unbelievable.
It would be terrible if this is a one-point fight at the end of it. He can land that lead left hook almost anytime he wants to. Arturo can. I'm waiting for him to land that left hook, even if it's not hard, and come back with a blistering right hand and follow up with it. Like there, he does it again. He can land that all day. Does it again.
How discouraging must it be for Tracy Harris Patterson, the former champ? 2 major turning points in this fight. The first one happened in the very first round when he had Gatti hurt and staggered back in the midst of a 3-punch combination, only to have the next punch be a low blow, giving Gatti time to recover. Then here in round number 9, when Patterson lands a good, solid right hand, but unfortunately gets tripped up and slips, it's ruled a knockdown for Gatti. Unbelievable bad luck for the former champ Tracy Harris Patterson.
You know, that's disheartening for me sitting here watching it. You know, it's hard to believe that he has to have a point taken away for that. That's a crime. You know, and not that Rudy did it on purpose.
That's just what he saw.
He saw it. It happened so fast, but yeah, that's too bad.
Well, we will take the time at the end of this round to look at a replay of what will probably be the seminal moment of this fight. Controversial knockdown here in round number 9.
If this is ever a one-point fight, that's going to be talked about for a long time.
Gatti was deducted a point in round number 8, and here gets it right back because of the ruling of a knockdown.
10. Round 10.
I told him, you hear what I said? I don't want nothing. I think.
Well, as Gaddy gets his corner instructions, let's look back at the knockdown. At least that's what it was ruled in the 9th round. John Scully, you tell me.
Well, he lands the right hand, and yeah, he slid his right foot, slipped on whatever, the water or the painted sign on the floor. Let's see it again.
Watch the right hand.
He counters with a beautiful right hand, and his legs gave out. There was no way was that a knockdown.
And I know exactly what Rudy Battle was thinking. Rudy Battle sees the left hook by Gaddy coming over the top of Tracy Harris Patterson as he went to the canvas. But the left hook went right over his head. They never scored.
And like I say, Rudy was at a bad angle, and he had to make a split-second judgment call. So he did what he thought was right, but he was wrong, unfortunately.
And unfortunately, Tracy Harris Patterson is the one who now has to pay the price. And by all accounts, is in a hole on the scorecards with 3 rounds to go here, round number 10.
And Tracy's the veteran, but he's the challenger here, so he's got to pick it up. No matter what happened to this point, he has to pick it up. He has to finish the show. Because, you know, you're in with a guy who's a new star in boxing based on his last fight, so there's a lot of sentiment with him, and Tracy needs to pick it up. Tracy's never been a flashy household name where everybody, you know, is waiting for his return. He's a workman-like guy, and, you know, he's got to dig down here and separate himself from Arturo if he has any chance to maybe win this fight.
You can see swelling around the eyes of Patterson. Double jab from Gaddy.
See, what I'd like to see, and I'm surprised Tracy hasn't figured it out yet, but Gaddy's thrown about 50 slapping left hooks. And what Tracy needs to do is wait. He knows it's going to come sooner or later, probably within the next minute. He needs to wait for it. There it goes again. Catch it, because it's not that hard of a hook. Catch it with your right glove and fire your right hand. Because it's almost impossible to miss the right hand off of that, because Arturo's so wide open when he slaps with that left hook.
And defensive posture is not back at that point.
Exactly. I mean, your hand is out there. You catch it and let it go. Tracy will beat him to the punch if he could do that.
There it is right there.
See? He's going to do it all night. Tracy should be waiting for it. Even if you have to slow down your own offense to time it. You want to time it and land an eye-catching right hand that'll influence the judges.
Left hook again from Gaddy. No response from Tracy.
And you know, it alarms me in a way, because Gaddy's able to get it in there pretty regularly, and you know, it's not a lot of power on it. So I think Tracy somebody needs to point that out to him in the corner.
This Bronx is Burning memoir is presented by...
You don't see this often. Watch the thumb of the referee.
Oh.
Look at that, right into the eye of Arturo Gaddy.
That hurts.
That was in the 10th round. And you can see moderate swelling near that left eye. Nothing like Gaddy had to deal with against Wilson Rodriguez in that epic come from behind knockout last March. There's a reason why we have stitched boxing gloves, so that the thumb doesn't come loose. Have we reached the point now where we need to have stitched rubber gloves for the refs? Round number 11 here. Championship rounds. Tracy Harris Patterson trying to get back to where he once belonged.
One thing I like about Gaddy in both fights with Tracy, late in the fight, 11th round and then in the 12th round, the first fight, he had good bounce. Good bounce. His legs are in great condition. He's very aware of himself, and even like that, you see where he he lured Tracy in and then used his right arm, right hand, like right glove to push him in a circle. That's a textbook boxing trick. And those are the tricks of the trade that I love. So for him to have the wherewithal to do that late in the fight shows a great conditioning for him.
Arturo Gatti, 24 years old, 5'7.5", a tight 130 pounds. Tracy Harris Patterson, 32 years old, gives up nearly 2.5 inches to Gatti. And remember, he's naturally the smaller man. He was at first a world champion at 122 pounds. Good work with that jab from Gatti, targeting that right eye of Tracy, which is swollen up.
If I was Gatti, though, he can land that left hook. He can touch something with it seemingly anytime he wants to. He should use that, like right there, he should throw a right hand right after it. Use it to line Tracy up.
Good jab from Tracy, a 1-2, nice right hand, and then they tie up. Yeah, that left hook, almost like a typewriter, centering.
Right, set him up. I mean, I'm amazed. I'm honestly amazed he hasn't, like there he goes again. I'm amazed he doesn't throw the right hand off that. But, you know, and with Tracy has a, you know, jab for jab. Tracy has a great jab, but he doesn't use it often enough, obviously.
Final 30 seconds here of this 11th round. Has Gatti done enough to put himself up on the scorecards? Got a gift knockdown call in the 9th round, but remember, a point deduction in the 8th round. End of 11. There will be 3 minutes to go for the IBF belt. Look at that right eye of Tracy Harris Patterson, swollen up from the constant barrage of left hands, the jabs and the hooks from the new champ, Arturo Gatti. Gatti comes out with 3 left hooks and a double jab targeting that right eye of Patterson. 12th and final round. Is it desperation time for the former 2-division champ?
I think it should be. You could never, in a fight like this, you could never assume you're winning. You know, you're the challenger fighting a marquee guy now, and you know, you're an older guy in terms of how many fights you've had. I think he needs to really go all out. He did it in their first fight. He didn't get the knockout, but he had a very good 12th round, and I'd certainly like to see that from him again now.
"14 months ago, they met up, and Gatti cruised to a title win. Scored well in that combination. Has it been 14 months of regret for Tracy? Counter right hand, but Gatti, with a one-eyed fighter opposite him, very confident to exchange, especially throwing out that left hand.
Tracy's got to, just like in the last fight, I remember it, he's got to throw the right hand and come back with the left hook, and he did it in the 12th round of the first fight and landed many good shots. He needs that now. He doesn't need technique. He doesn't need a ton of jabs. He needs big shots.
8 unanswered punches from Gatti.
See, and that's okay if you want to let our, you know, if you're going for the knockout, you want to let Arturo lure him in. You want to lure Arturo in, that's okay, but you can't let him get off 8 shots and then, you know, let him glide on out of there.
Got to take a chance at some point.
I mean, I always say that he's got to get a little bit wild. He's got to throw wild punches. He's got to go for a desperation knockout because there's no way he could think he's winning the fight by a decision here.
We detailed it well. There were 2 instances in this fight that were bad breaks that went against Tracy. In the first round, he had Gatti hurt when a low blow came in. and Gaddy was given a break. Then in the 9th round, Patterson landed a flush right hand and slipped, and it was ruled a knockdown for Gaddy. All the other rounds, Gaddy seemed to be in control, except for moments of brilliance, like in the 6th round when Patterson landed all the right hands. It looks like Gaddy has done it again as he celebrates in Atlantic City. What an emotional display from Gaddy, the 24-year-old, celebrating. Look at that right eye of Patterson. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Bally's Park Place in Atlantic City, we go to the scorecards. Biba Exton scores about 118 to 108. David McCullough scores at 117 to 109. And George Hill scores at 116 to 110 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still Junior